Hey guys, Zach here. Today I'm going to be answering one simple question. Simple but very, very important, and it's this. Why should I play Deathmatch? And by I mean you. Yes, you, the one watching this video. You should play Deathmatch. While I go over this information, you can watch some of my recorded matches and duels just to get a feel for what it's like to play against high-end players, because most of the player base in the game doesn't really understand what that means. I'm not talking about level. I'm talking about impact, skill. They have no idea what it looks like. They have no idea where the skill ceiling is, where it is. They don't know what a skill curve is, and if you don't, that's okay. You're here now, and now is the perfect time to start improving. Now, anyone who knows me knows that I play Deathmatch as often as possible, and that it's my favorite mode. But much more than that, Deathmatch is the best game mode to practice for improvement, and I never stop practicing. For the average player, however, Deathmatch is quite often not their favorite mode because they usually go into matchmaking by themselves to complete their weekly, and they usually get their butt kicked, so it's not perceived as fun. As soon as they finish their quest, they go back to siege matches, which means that they really didn't learn anything from the experience, and I call that a damn shame. And that's because those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. I've heard it all. It's just a game. Why so serious? The game isn't balanced. I'm better with units. The game is about war, not dueling. I've heard everything. Every conceivable argument. And yes, the purpose of playing games is to have fun. Sure. But the reason why you are playing a competitive PvP game instead of a PvE game is because you like winning. You joined a house in the game and participated in territory war because you like winning and you felt that making that choice would improve your odds of winning. Put another way, you like beating players, real people. Victory is more satisfying because you beat real people. So it goes to reason that winning more frequently will make your gameplay more enjoyable, and it's all part of the challenge of beating players and worth the effort to improve your performance. The better you get at it, the more frequently you'll play against better players, and yet more satisfying it is to beat them. So no matter what the argument is, it's clear that there is a material incentive to winning and a tangible link to winning and having fun, and there's no reason why you can't do both. But to do both, you've got to be creative, you've got to study. You've got to practice. And that's where Deathmatch comes in. It is precisely because the other game modes have units that those modes are easier. Take away your units, and now you must personally accomplish every objective. It's objectively more difficult, just like putting a metal donut on a baseball bat to make it heavier. Practicing things that are difficult makes you perform better when you do things that are simple. There is no top player in the game with an obvious weakness. They're all good at everything the game allows you to do. They may have specializations, sure, but they excel in general. But enough already. If you're still watching this video, then I'm going to assume that you're here to learn. So what are the differences between a top player and an average Joe? Well, everything. They move different. They position different. They use specific weapons and ultimates. They understand the meta. Their timing is better. Their aim is more accurate. They use feinting attacks. They understand the game mechanics. I mean it literally when I say that everything is different. And I'm going to show you what different looks like. So in this clip, notice how these guys are just running at me. There's no tactics. There's no strategy. They're just running, and they're using their ultimates when I have Ironside up doing no damage. They're making tons of mistakes. And not just that, but they're also running at whatever is nearest to them. Whatever appears as the juiciest, most tangible, achievable, immediate goal, they pursue it. Meanwhile, I'm running rings around them. I'm picking off their weak players. I'm attacking tactically. And there's no reason why you can't do that too. Now in this other clip, I'm dueling against Cenarius Rex. He's one of the best musket players on the server. Notice how from the second the countdown starts, he's already trying to put distance on me. But this is a feint. Just before the round starts, he turns so as to get behind me and try to do some backstab damage right as the match starts. He attacks methodically, tactically, chaining staggering abilities and melee attacks into a leg sweep combo. Perfect execution. I take the hit, and I counter with Ironsides, and the fight continues in a predict, move, counter move format until one of us kisses the dirt. Notice how he takes advantage of iframes and Skirmisher to evade my shield charge, which would otherwise allow me to maintain tempo against him. I managed to catch up to him with my ultimate, but he counters with leg sweep, stunning both of us and giving him a slight advantage. This next clip starts out much the same, except my execution isn't as good. He feints again at the start of the duel, and I whiff an attack which costs me a precious half second and some ground. I use my shield toss to try to recover ground, slowing him and speeding me up, but this gives him an easy setup for his ultimate, and he catches me without Iron Sights on. I use Iron Sights to counter his leg sweep combo, but he delays it for just a split second and sweeps me after I've already used Iron Sights. Now I have no choice but to use my ultimate to recover, or he'll get free backstab damage on me and the fight's over. He predicted this, of course, and he used Skirmisher to escape free and clear. He's got distance on me. There's virtually nothing I can do at this point. And I didn't even make any huge errors in this fight. Just a handful of small mistakes, and Cenarius crushes me because his execution was just a little better. His timing was just a little better. And when you're fighting really good players, when you're playing against the high-end top players, a little better is a decisive victory. Now, movement isn't just about how you move, it's also where you move. Positioning is just as important. In this clip, I use map awareness to get a flanking attack on the enemy by wall riding around to the side and landing a big multi-hit ultimate that secures my team the high ground. Understanding your terrain and the strengths and weaknesses of that terrain is crucial to holding ground. And on this map especially, it's not enough to just attack the other team's primary entry and egress. You have to watch the sides and the lower levels to hold a strong position and get creative when it comes to attacking a team that's dug into a strong position. The type of weapon used is just as important as knowing what to do with it, because game balance, especially when comparing weapons, is a big part of the meta, and there's no reliable way to just get around that. For those without a clear understanding of what the meta is, it is short for metagame, which means the game that people play, not the game that was designed by the developers. Take any competitive game, and the rules and strategies change over time regardless of whether the game gets patched. Think of it as the game within the game. And sometimes you must adapt to context or adopt a strategy that's used against you because you don't have a better answer to that strategy. That means training weapons you may not want to use. It means playing what your team needs instead of what you want to play. Now, I'm trying to keep this video short, so I'm truncating the breadth of this topic by simply saying that the most important, most consistent aspect of high-end players is that they play hero weapons that are all strong within the meta, or they find ways to redefine the meta. Trying to do anything else will result in frustration because everything feels like an uphill battle, and that's because it is. My advice to everyone watching this is to learn the meta first, and learn to play it well before you try to change it, because very few people are even capable of changing it, myself included. Spend some time to memorize the names of some of the top players, and then when you get into a matchmaking battle with them, mark their tactics, strategies, and most importantly, the impact that they had on the game, and learn from them. Feel free to pause the video and read this list, and don't be offended if I've left someone out. The names in this list are simply a few of the top players that I happen to know pretty well. While I've glossed over some issues such as timing or mechanics and basically paired them with other sections of this video, they're no less important in defining a top player. And feel free to drop a comment below or PM me on Discord to discuss it or suggest a topic for future videos. I fully intend to come up with weapon guides as well as in-depth analysis of patches and tons of other information-rich videos to answer some of these questions, but good content takes time. I hope I persuaded you of the benefits of Deathmatch, and to not only play it more often, but play it with intention and learn to enjoy it. If you've learned something today, I would really appreciate it if you dropped a like or subscribe, and lastly, I'll see you next time.